I had a question as well about people commenting, like the three comments I've had were people who didn't schedule a meeting, they did not speak to me at all or send in a request. They just, oh, this is a scam.
Yeah.
Oh, this
So what you do is
so
go near, I'll tell you right now, you go right to next to their name and there's a delete button. Hit that delete button and ban them from your page. So you don't have to show
okay,
them as anymore.
okay.
Yep.
And Thompson, what were you going to ask Thompson?
I was just going to ask, kind of in practicing throughout the week and last week, I think I need to build a little bit more trust. So maybe we'll talk about that today. I'm getting more comfortable with being able to take them more through the process of asking, the health questions, the finance questions. But I'm still kind of getting a little tripped up, I think probably around the trust aspect, because I haven't gotten an application submitted for one that you would think, oh yeah, this is kind of like done. So that's kind of what I've just been experiencing in particular to one person. So wanted to see maybe if I'm just missing a little bit on the trust building side, or if there's something else you might recommend.
Yeah, let me ask you this, right? When you are presenting to people, do you feel like you know exactly what you're talking about when you're saying the things that you say to people? Do you feel like you know what you're talking about?
I think so. And in regards specifically to policy, or more in regards to the questions, like the question process?
Well, in regards to the entire conversation, like, do you feel like when you asking questions, do you feel confident when you're asking those questions?
Yeah, I definitely think on this last presentation, I was very confident.
Okay.
And we really went through everything pretty easily. But I just wasn't able to get the applications submitted. It just didn't happen ultimately. So I felt like the rapport building was good. I developed the needs. I determined what that calculation was. We were in agreement on price, on benefit total, and everything like that. And then kind of when it just came to the application process, at that particular time, the wife was not with the husband, so we needed to go back to reschedule. I called him at 4:30, and there was an application that was self-service, so I sent over the self-service application. I was like, if you have any questions, reach out. They went through, they got a slightly different quote as what, and I think that maybe that was what potentially got me. So maybe that is to answer your question, if I knew what I was doing. When I first quoted, it was around like $63, but when they went into the application and put in the medication, it went up to about $100. So there was a little difference in price. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so look, so that's still more of the issue to me, as far as like selling it's a feeling process, right? It's like us giving a person our feelings so they can move forward with our program, right? Like, they're going to buy our confidence in what we're talking about. They're going to buy the solution that we presented to them in the confidence manner that we deliver the product to them. So you're saying that you went through all those questions, but you was doing a one-legged appointment, so you couldn't close without that other person being there. And then your other option was to send out this information for them to do it themselves. That's something that I personally wouldn't do. Like, I try to keep everything under my control as much as I can. Like, they wouldn't even know that I have something like that, even if I did. If they were like, oh, well, could you send it over to me? I'll go ahead and get it signed. Like, if I was already, like, if you're in driving distance, like I already sat with you, I'll be like, absolutely. What day is a good day for me to stop on by? I'll change the language. Remember, we inducing the idea just by with the statement. So I believe, like, in that case, more than likely it was that particular reason why you didn't get the sale, because you didn't close it. You tried to let the system
finish it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. You know what? And when I was reflecting after that, I think that was my first thought. And I thought, okay, you know what? I just dropped the ball at that spot. And I think that I've gotten more comfortable with the pre. So now I just need to get more comfortable with that next portion to maintain the confidence and continue to really just get that application done right there with them.
Yeah, and this is the thing, like a one-legged appointment is more difficult, right? So with that being said, I still go for them because I've closed
Yeah.
a whole lot of one-legged appointments, right? I didn't close all of them, but I closed way more than the ones I didn't. I would say probably like an 80 to 20% one-legged appointments I still will close.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
he hadn't even spoke with his wife about it. And I had said, hey, you know, if we're able to get something for her as well within the budget, is that something you're interested in? And so he wasn't even thinking about her. Then he was, and happened to speak with her as well and said, yeah, this is something that we want to do. So I think for me, it was just not going that
no,
originally I
Thompson,
was
I
gonna,
got you.
yeah,
Look, so what you want to do is like when you're in that situation, you want to get them to think for the spouse because they know their spouse, right? This is two parts to this. Is like you don't know if they really need the spouse there or if they're just using the spouse as an excuse not to get started. That's an easy out for them. So
Yeah.
I never will buy that, right? I told myself I won't buy that. So you can test it, right? By having them speak, whether it's going to be really from them or through the wife. By the wife not being there, you can say something like, "Oh well, John, let me ask. I mean, if your wife was here, what would she think about the program?" Oh, she would think this, and do you think she would feel comfortable having this, like knowing that this was put in place for the family? I think she would be. Do you think she would be, or she probably wouldn't? Right now, I'm going to mislabel, or she probably wouldn't. Oh, no, she's now. I'm going to get a much stronger force of them going towards the direction I want them to go. Right? Oh no, she would definitely. Why is that? So now I'm going to make him sell for his wife. Oh, she would like it because she's going to feel this,
yeah,
right? And that's a
yeah,
way that we can get them to move forward. So again, this is a feeling process. They got to feel good about it. Like when you get that adrenaline rolling and you get them like, oh, like, yeah, she's that. Oh, well, what are we waiting for? All I need is a check in it and you can make all that happen. Yeah.
yeah.
Where is it? Right. So still go for it. It's most times you're still going to be able to get the sale. Don't go for the, I have to talk to this person. Okay.
Yep, that makes sense. And, you know, I'm just going to keep following up. It took a while for him to respond a while ago. So, you know, something might have come up, but I'm not counting that one out, but definitely counting it as a experience to have this conversation and just know where I need a little bit more practice and what's going well and so on and so forth. So thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, and as far as like with following up, like if you already was at the house, I will always drive back over there. I would just pop up on them. Hey, I was in the neighborhood. I just was servicing one of the neighbors. I figured I'd stop by because I know we couldn't finish the conversation. So this is a thing that a lot of people mess up when they follow up, right? A lot of times when we follow up, we'll follow up with, "Oh yeah, I was just stopping by. I just wanted to know." Or even if you scheduled it, even if you call and scheduled the follow up, and then you showed up anyway, you're like, our first question is, "Oh, how's everything? Everything great, perfect." Build it a little bit more rapport again, and then we go, "Oh, did you get a chance to make the decision?" 9 times out of 10, they didn't sit and think about it, right? They didn't really sit and think about if they were going to get started. So since they didn't think about it, the answer is, "Oh yeah, we thought about it and we're okay," right? And then you're right out the door. So you have to come in there and as if like you never presented to them. You know what I mean? You already have all this pre-information, which is great. You didn't have that before, but you already have all this extra for you. So now when we come back, we're like, "Oh yeah, I'm glad I was able to make it back over here. I had a few more ideas that I felt like, you would be interested in. Are you open to hearing them?" Now you reopen that curiosity that you had before, and instead of getting yourself shot down immediately. "Oh, have you gotten a chance to think about if you wanted to get started or not?" "Yeah, we thought about it and we're good." Now you lose right away. No chance. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so do we have anybody have any other thoughts or questions about anything that they've been experiencing this far? For this week? All good.
Hey, David, can you hear me? Not sure. David, can you hear me? I'm not sure if your mic is on or not. All right, he may not be able to hear. You
I
can
think
go on,
his
Rob.
mic just came on. Okay. So let me move this. All right, perfect. So the topic I want to talk about today is just, as y'all can see, I put these little emojis right here. So many questions, right? This quote I found, it says, the only questions that really matters are the ones you ask yourself. All right. So obviously I put these emojis. I don't want nobody to be getting frustrated with these questions right here. My job is to help everybody understand the things we need to be asking ourselves, and also being able to know how to apply these things for us for the sake of this career, this business. Okay. Asking questions, for one, it can lead to self-discovery, right? You can figure out things from asking yourself if that no one else could really ask you, that you would never discover about yourself. Number two, it encourages necessary life changes. It encourages you to make some changes that otherwise, if you wouldn't ask yourself, you wouldn't even realize I need to do it. For example, if you're like someone that's fearful of knocking on doors, right? You can ask yourself, hey, Rocky, what is it that you're so afraid of? And then I'm like, oh, I'm not really scared of knocking on. I don't know what it is. And then you find out it's not nothing. You're not really afraid. You just got this thought for no reason. And then you can encourage yourself to move forward, right? Another thing to ask yourself, asking yourself questions, is it can help you form good habits, right? That's pretty much like the reflection that you would do every day, like in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings. That's a good habit to have, because now you get to learn everything so much quicker. Like when you sit there, you get porch and you're trying to figure out what's going on. How can I best do this? How can all these different things? You ask yourself those questions, you get those answers. All right. Another thing is you will make better choices, right? If somebody else is asking you questions, they're pretty much only giving you the options that they know that's available, right? Like if I only knew the methods of prospecting was, calling leads or knocking on leads' door. If I say, hey, would you rather call leads or go out and door knock leads? How would you prefer to run your business? Like I'm only giving you two choices, and therefore I'm controlling the fate of your career, of what you're only about to do, because this is all you're aware of. But if you ask yourself, how do I want to run my business? Right? You're not asking yourself with these two choices. It's more of an open probe question to yourself. And then you start thinking of all these different ways you can go about meeting people. So now you're not limited to just these one or two options. Okay. The most important to me is your brain will stay active, right? And that's what we need. It will keep you self-motivated, self-aware, and constantly searching for new information. Okay. So I'm just going to go over some questions that I really would like to ask everybody, and would like for all of us to ask ourselves these questions regularly. So this first question, we talked about this last week, our daily numbers. Can somebody tell me what their daily number is for today? Do anybody have their daily number? Y'all remember the daily number is the number that tells us how much money we need to collect for the day to make sure we're on track with hitting our goal for the month.
I have
in
mine.
turn, okay, what's yours?
My daily number is, I rounded it up to 100. It was around like 93, so I went ahead and just rounded it to 100 as my daily, my monthly premium collection needed.
Okay. Now this is the thing though, as each day go by, if you don't collect that number, the number changes. So you've been keeping up each day. Each day you've been changing that number, and you're at 100 now?
I have
Okay.
not done that, but that makes sense and I understand. So I need to update my number.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's why we're having this call. So yeah, each day that you don't, like if your number starts off at $50, today go by, you didn't collect 50, right? Now, tomorrow, your number is now at $100 if you want to stay on track with hitting your goal, right? So a lot of times I would say that people would not know the answer to this. It would either because A, they didn't care enough to write it down to focus on it, or B, it would be I forgot the equation, or I didn't write the equation down, right? I mean, forgetting the equation is not a problem, but forgetting to ask for the forgotten equation is. Okay? Either going after your goal piece by piece doesn't matter, or you're looking for an excuse. Forgot isn't a good excuse, because we won't forget if someone say, hey, 49 days from now, meet me under this bridge and I'll give you $1 million. One day go by, someone say, hey, what's your number? We'll quickly say 48, right? Like, what's 48 real quick? 14 days go by, what's your number? 35. We won't forget, because $3 million is on the line, right? Now, write this down. Everything your life could be is on the line. The opportunity to build great character is on the line. The opportunity to become a disciplined human being is on the line. Most importantly, the opportunity to build trust within yourself is on the right. So the little things must matter. They must, or you'll ruin big opportunities. New York Life Insurance Company, right? They group you in classes based on the month you got started. It was about 25 agents in my class, myself included. And during my 6 months there, the number dropped down to seven people, 6 months. Today, there's only one other agent still considered a financial professional. And his time is spent in a bank. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with working in a bank, but that wasn't his goal when we met, right? Why didn't so many people make it? Somebody had to take a guess. Why would you say so many people didn't make it from the time I got started till today?
Probably not that clear goal, and then not hitting it and pretty much kind of adding that together. And it always probably just being sort of spinning your wheels, having something in place, but not actually ever getting it there.
Yeah, and to simply put it, the little things didn't matter, right? The little things to them didn't matter. They showed up to training. They got enlightened, but what? Didn't take any action. The simplest way to take action is by asking questions. If you ask, you care, or you're just nosy. How did you write 500K in production? The big producer give you the steps. You don't take them. You're just being nosy, right? So don't be nosy. Take the steps. The steps that I share with everyone today were the same ones revealed to me from someone else. Like, I promise I didn't invent the steps. I'm not that clever. I promise I didn't do that. I'm not saying the steps that I teach is the only way, but it is a way. Don't say you're looking for a way to accomplish your goals, receive a roadmap and then say that way don't work. That system don't work. It don't work. Everything work if you will. So we need to stop making excuses and care more about doing the little things, okay? The next question is this: am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? So we can ask ourselves, how much is enough? How much is enough? It's as much as you need to do to hit your goals. Everybody's goals is different. Everybody don't have the same amount of workload to do, right? So it's going to vary. Would you say, everything that you're doing is enough to accomplish your goals? Thompson, like what you're doing in your business, do you feel like you're doing everything that you can do in your business to accomplish your goals at this point?
Currently, yes. Maybe just 2-3 weeks ago, that still needed work. But currently, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Mr. Cornelius, what about you? Would you say that you're doing everything that you could do, within your power to accomplish the goals you set for yourself right now?
I would say currently no. I still have to work on a few things, but I'm constantly working and building. So, but at this point, no. I would say no.
Okay, and that's not a problem. The whole thing is just doing exactly what you just did, just knowing exactly where you're at. Just knowing is enough. right? That's a great start, but obviously knowing it, now we have to act on it because that's what's going to separate you from where you're at right now to wherever it is that you want to go. I'm not saying everybody need to produce 20K, 30, like I'm talking about whatever your goal is. Your goal could be 4,000 a month. Your goal could be 5, your goal could be 6, right? Whatever it is, like you need to be doing everything you need to do in your power to make it happen. Okay. The next question is this: what else could I do to hit my goals? What else could I do? This is a good question. Okay. Because it sends your mind into a search for all the infinite actions that you could take that you haven't done yet. Right? What else could I do to hit my goals? It's so personalized, right? Like what she could do may be different from what he could do. If she worked 20 years, saved up a nice nest egg, she could have an advantage on investment, right? At business startup, she got a much better advantage at this guy. This is this young guy's first career, nothing saved, just the vision. You see the dynamics? I mean, it's much easier to illustrate this with physical businesses than mental business. Our business is mental. It's all in our head. We have to remember processes, sales processes, prospecting. These are all mental processes. Physical one is a little different. Let's say a woman 47 years of age, just retired from a job she spent 25 years in. She decides to purchase a property for her dream sneaker store, right? Across the street from a 22-year-old kid who happened to purchase his first property for the same exact reason. He got this dream of having a sneaker store. Now, upon purchase, the woman, she has the register, she got the shelves, the shoes, the hangers, the foot measuring tool, right? And the kid is trying to save up for a register. Now, with that being the situation, a woman isn't guaranteed to earn more than a kid. It's going to come down to who has the most sound enough plan to dominate that street. The woman may feel like she has all she needs, while the kid is proactively thinking, what else could I do? Right? He could come up with enough ideas to eventually catch up to her in sales. But his mind is now still proactively thinking. That became a habit for him. And now he caught up to her and he's still, what else could I do? And now he's adding more, and now he's now past this person. Right? After coming up with so many creative ideas, the woman across the street couldn't compete. What else could I do is so strong if you just challenge yourself with this question daily. Also you can let myself or Dwayne know exactly what you're doing, and then pop the question on us or any manager that you trust that you're working with. Hey, I've been doing this. I've been running my business that way. What else could I do? What else would you suggest? Right? Just take all these little ideas and, you can really like look at them all and say, oh, I can, this is something I can do. Like, I'll give you an example. I remember like I was having like a struggling month, and I was just sitting there. I'm like, man, like what are some ways that I could like really make some noise to like get the ball rolling quick? And one of them was, one idea that popped in my head was I could just walk inside of Walmart and just yell, hey, who need life insurance? That was the idea. I didn't act on that, but it was an idea, right? The other one was, okay, I could just go inside Walmart and, if I don't got the balls to just scream that out, I could just walk up to all these people and introduce myself that way. And that's the one I went with, right? And from doing that, that gave me the confidence to start doing it at all these other different stores and different places where people hang out at. You know what I'm saying? Just from having that idea, just from asking, what else can I do? Because what I'm doing right now, I'm falling behind. Like what I was doing last month was enough for me to do 10K, but now my goal was 20K. So what else could I do? Right? So that question is important. All right. Another important question is, what does my schedule look like? Right? What does my schedule look like? Esther, would you mind sharing? Would you mind sharing with the group what your schedule looks like currently?
Yeah, so I wake up typically about 6:30, drink my early bird, and then start dialing at 8 to
Okay.
8.
And you said you get up, you said 6:30 or 5:30, I'm sorry.
6:30.
6:30. And between 6:30 and 8 o'clock, what are you doing?
I'm just basically getting ready.
Okay. And after you finish your dial session, what are you doing after that?
I listen to podcasts to learn more. I just recently got a new template, so I'll be doing that today. I'll be
Okay,
making my new ad. Yeah.
got you. And I know you said between that 6:30 to 8, you said you're getting ready. So what does that look like? You getting ready? How are you preparing yourself?
Just showering, eating, cleaning up, just
Okay.
having like mental preparedness for the day. I usually go on a walk, I pray as I walk. Sometimes I exercise and yeah,
Hmm.
I just get ready for
Okay.
the day.
Sweet. So I appreciate you for sharing that, Esther. So, she have her schedule laid out, right? Like she know what her schedule look like. So now it's like as we look at our schedule, we can try to figure out other things that should be added or could be taken away, right? We should all look at our schedules and say, is this right here, is this activity beneficial to helping me accomplish my goal, right? This gap of space where there's nothing planned, is it possible that I could put some activity in here and have enough energy to actually accomplish that? If I put this extra added activity into this slot, right? That's something that I've always do. That I always do. I look at my schedule and try to figure out, okay, what do I need to put right here, right? And this where having a 5-year plan really helps, right? Like when you have a 5-year plan in different categories, let's just say personal, career, financial, you know, relationships. You can know what you want, how you would like to operate 5 years from now. So if I know one of the things that I want to do 5 years from now, if I know I want to be a great speaker, I know that, okay, I need to be practicing on speaking. I need to be reading books on how to be a better speaker. So I'll know I need to take that and put it in my time slot somewhere, right? So, for example, my insurance schedule, what it would typically would look like when I'm running in the field, I'm getting up at 4:30, right? Between 4:30, 5 o'clock, pretty much taking a shower, eating some oatmeal or some cream of wheat or something, eating something that I can make real quick, right? And then at 5 o'clock, I'm doing something called Savers. I picked this up from a book called Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. In that book, he talked about his morning routine, and I stuck with it. It's S stands for silence, A for affirmations, V for visualizing, E for exercise, right? R for reading, and S for scribing, which is writing in your journal. So it's like you can break that down however you like in 1 hour, but that's 6 powerful things that you can hit in just 1 hour, right? Silence, sitting there thinking about, or I'm sorry, sitting in silence, just sitting there, just letting the thoughts just go by, just observing what you got going on in your mind. The A, affirming what you want to be in, what you need to be going on in your mind. V, visualizing how you want the day to go, visualizing yourself accomplishing your goal 5 years from now. E, doing a nice little stretch, doing some push-ups or something like that. Any little quick exercise. R, reading something, picking up new information. And then S, scribing, taking note of how you feel, and taking note, maybe summarizing something you may have picked up from the little 10 or 20-minute session you just did in your reading session. If you do all that every single day, like that's all I'm going to say is, like, you will not be the same. Not even 1 month from the time you start a practice like that. You know what I'm saying? But on top of that, like, you're just going to be highly motivated, like super energized every single morning to get started. So that's done at 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, that's already complete. I'm already on fire now. And the people that I'm gonna be talking to, they probably ain't even wake up yet. So by the time I catch them, like they energy is all low. They all, yeah, hello. And they like, whoa. Hey, this is, whoa. Oh, I'm doing good. Just sound like, oh, right? Like they're going to feed off that energy. They're going to feel it so easily because theirs is so contrasted to where yours is at. You know what I'm saying? And then we go starting at 6 o'clock for me, from 6 to 7. This is the time that I'm practicing. I'm practicing scripts. I'm practicing my presentation, objections, rebuttals. I'm deciding prior what I will be doing in that 6 to 7 hour mark. If I'm going to be practicing rebuttals or a presentation or reading up on some products, like, you get those emails saying, hey, you have this new product, you'll get that email. You can check up on that. So this is keeping yourself sharp for what you do every single day. this will send your confidence through the roof. And then we would never have to even question, right? I'm not sure if it's my confidence that for the reason I'm not getting the sale. You would never have to even think or question that, right? As you go forward, for me at 7 o'clock, 7 to 8, what I'm doing, I'm checking emails. I'm checking my emails. I need to make sure I don't have no chargebacks. I need to make sure clients haven't been reaching out. I need to make sure the company didn't just tell me that this person, have insufficient funds, right? You checking up on all that. So now you're keeping your business from falling apart. Now, a lot of times, we're so focused on trying to build it that we forget to make sure the structure is fine, that make sure everything is connected. All the bricks are laid. The surface is perfect for us to continue to build on it. Like when we forget to do this, this is the most important. That's your whole foundation. Like you could literally go out and have a month, and this happened to me, and go and write 20, 30,000. And you like, yeah, I'm about to be up. Things that this about to be not. And then you realize you just got hit with this big charge back there, and all that did was just replace what you just lost. And now all this work you just put in now comes out to be about $2,000 in your bank account. And you thought you was about to have like 15, 20,000 extra, right? So it's important to have time scheduled for checking those emails, seeing what's going on, even calling up your clients. It only take about you can go through those emails in about 5 to 10 minutes, to be honest, no more than 15. Still got 45 minutes. You can sit there and start calling some clients. Hey, last time we spoke was about 3 months ago. How's everything been going? Oh, it's been going, everything's been going good. Is everything okay with my policy? Oh, yeah, your policy is fine. I was just checking up on you. I know I didn't want to let too much time go in between reaching back out to you, making sure everything was okay. I know you mentioned how, you had this new medication. How was that working out for you? That's why it's important to take notes in our sales presentations. All of this stuff matter. These are the little things that we can do to continuously grow a prosperous business, and then you can really be happy with your residual income. Like I said, my first 2 years, I was sad that I wasn't getting residuals. I mean, I was getting them, but it was like I wasn't getting anything. You know what I'm saying? So you can build that up by having this type of system in place. Again, you are that system. You have to follow that schedule. Just put it somewhere in there. After that, I'm pretty much heading to my first appointment. My first appointment is typically booked for 9 o'clock. And when I first started, I will book appointments for 9, 11, 1, 3, and 5. Right? That's 5 appointments. But I also double book. I would double book. I will book somebody at 8:30. I will book somebody at 10:30. I will book somebody at 12:30. So if I can make that 12:30, the 12:30 person show up, then I'm taking it. If I got to show up to my 1 o'clock late, I'm not showing up saying, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm glad I was able to make it. I got so many people to help. I'm glad I was able to get over to you. Can we use that table over there? Right? Like we're beating them to the, if we show up, oh, I'm so sorry that I was, I'm running late. It's like, oh, well, yeah, what's up with that? I was ready at this time. Like you beat them to all that. We already know where they want to go. So we can just get right past that just by giving them the same impression that doctors would give when they're running behind. Right? Hey, I'm finished. Come on. Rafiq Harris. Finally, in my head, finally. Come on. Put your arm out. Right? How are you feeling? Right? They just start going in like they ain't just have us waiting an extra 45 minutes. We can approach it the same exact way. But the longer you follow that type of schedule, and again, y'all know what we talk about in the sales training as far as on the prospecting side, continuously prospecting every day, you wouldn't have no issue with filling in your schedule. But you have to have this plan set up for you to do it first, for you to know exactly what you need to be doing. And then you'll be more driven to go out and make it happen. Right? We can't just think that I want to make money. We can't just think I want to write this number. We have to have a whole plan set up for it from top to bottom with the wise answer for each part of that process. Why I need to do that? Why I need to do this? Why I need to do that? Why I need to, all of it need to be answered. And it's going to give us the energy that we need to continuously push forward. Okay. The next question. Is everybody still with me right now? I know I'm talking a lot. Is everybody still with me? Still good?
Yeah.
Yep.
right? Perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. So,
Mhm.
so the next question, is this making sense to everybody? Like, like why we need to have that, ask these questions and have these schedules in place and the different things we need to do. Is that all making sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. All right, so the next question we need to figure out if we have call reluctance, right? Another way you can look at it, like even outside of call reluctance, just reluctance in approaching people, period, right? Do we have that? So if we do, right, a good way to get past this is to schedule a time to make calls, right? Schedule a time to do it and start making calls a minute before the scheduled time. Like if you're scheduled to start making calls at 9 o'clock, try to do it at 8:59. All right. The reason I suggest this is it will help you beat the increased levels of cortisol to the punch. We always trying to beat something to the punch. We need to beat cortisol to the punch. All right. Imagine a bully telling a wimpy kid, "I'll see you after school at 3 p.m." Right. 2:59 hit. The wimpy kid stress level was kicking in high gear. Then the clock hit 3, and the thought from the pain alone is enough to paralyze the kid to a chair. The bully done forgot all about him. He's somewhere picking on somebody else because that's what bullies do, right? So let's just replay this scenario. Same situation. Bully tell the wimpy kid, "I'll see you after school at 3 p.m." This time the wimpy kid start proactively thinking, how can I get ahead of this whooping? I'll leave at 2:59. So 2:58 strike, he's getting his things ready. He's feeling confident because he knows he's 1 minute ahead of avoiding a beatdown. 1 minute ahead is all you need. Just try it out. While preparing to get ahead of this reluctance, to call people or to knock on doors, again, write down some fear-based questions, right? What's the worst things that can happen to me? What's the percentage of that actually happening? If it happened, will I live to tell the story? Answering those questions will really help with this. Then you just start dialing that 1 minute earlier so you don't get crippled, at the scheduled time. All right. That's pretty much what I had to start doing. A lot of different times where I got stuck, I was just like, you know what? I know for sure when that 9 o'clock hit, the last, like my lifestyle tell me the last few weeks at 9 o'clock on the dot, I couldn't make a dial. I had to work myself up to it. So now it's like, let me start dialing before that. And I was just able to just pick it up and just start getting to work. 9 o'clock, I'm right by it. Right. So the next question. What's the difference between top and bottom producers? Would anybody like to share some answers with me for this question?
I would say top producers stay consistent.
Stay consistent. It's a good
Mhm.
answer. We have any other answers?
Mindset.
Mindset.
Yes.
Yeah, they have no fear. They're not fear of knocking on doors. They're not fear of making calls, and they set a schedule and stick with it.
Yeah, Cornelius, I'll tell you this, right? And I tell people all the time, even during my best months, I still felt the fear of knocking on doors and approaching random people. It's not that the fear not there. It's just I had my reasons for why I have to do it. And knowing that I was fearful of doing it, I had to create some creative ways to push myself to do it. And that's where I share with people, like I start doing a 3, 2, 1 countdown to get myself started. Like I would be in my head, okay, I got to approach this next person walking by. As soon as I get there, I feel it in my chest, like that, all that fear, and it just handicapped me. My mouth just wouldn't even open. Then I'm like, all right, you know what? The next person, I'm gonna count down from 3, and once I get to 1, I'm just gonna open up. Whatever happens, happens. I literally had to have this conversation and do this. I'm like, I'm now walking past somebody, 3. I'm timing it too. 3, 2, 1. Now I just turn at the person, that's whoever that person is, as we're walking up towards each other. And then I just open up. And then once you get started and then you get into it, you let all the practice and preparation you've been putting in, you let it carry you through. As long as you, like, that's going to carry you. All the preparation that you've been doing, you're like, if you're practicing talking to people, you know what to say, you know how to control the conversation. Now you just have to make it happen. Right? The biggest difference between an agent producing 500K and an agent producing 50K, it's not the skill difference either. It's not the skill difference. If you went into an office and got some training from 10-year agents, you wouldn't have an idea as to the order from, highest to the lowest producer. You wouldn't have a clue. Everything each one teach will be so similar, you would think they're all producing at the same level. The difference is one is applying, the others are trying. Application. That's the difference. Application. Let's say you go to download an app on your phone, right? The download completion is at 99%. That's a lot of completion because the highest to go to is 100%. So you feel like, oh, that's 99% is good. You only just one away. But let's say 3 years later, it's still at 99%. It's still trying to download this application, and you're pissed because you're wondering, like, why isn't it working? But it still just hasn't reached that 100%. Now, if you try to start the app at 99%, will it work? Anybody try to start an app without it? It will. Why not?
It need that 1% to function.
Right, because it's not downloaded, right? So
Right.
you can be at your 99% and it won't be enough to work for you. You can have the knowledge, the strategy, the techniques, trustworthiness, big, beautiful smile, and the industry still won't work for you because you still haven't downloaded that 1%. How many of y'all in here have iPhones? Anybody have iPhones?
Yeah.
You got some iPhone. I know we got some iPhone. There's no way our whole
Yep.
team is set up of. Oh, okay. I about to say no one got all Androids. We got to end this call early.
Steve Jobs forever.
but even if you have an Android, this process may be similar. Okay, on an iPhone, when you're downloading an app, if you try to start it before it's finished, before it finished downloading, it will pause, and it will stay that way until you press the button again. How many of us are trying to start at 99%? And I'll say this: how many of us are trying to start and our plan isn't written down?
That was me.
How many of us are trying? Yeah, how many of us are trying to start and we don't have a clue on how much we need to collect today? How many of us are trying to start and we don't have scheduled practice time? Right? How many of us are trying to start and we don't have a start time? Right? I mean, you think that's kind of, it's like, how can we start something and we don't have a start time, right? We probably won't start. My last question: how many of us are trying to start because we need money?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you're the person paused at 99%, I suggest you to stay that way until you have your entire plan written down. The who, what, when, where's, how's, and most importantly, the whys. When the app finally reaches 100%, you can now take action. You can use it. After your plan is complete, you'll be ready to download that last 1%, which is taking action. You can use everything you came up with to acquire more. All right. So that's the only difference, being able to take that action. A lot of times people come to us at first, everybody is like, all I need is the lead system. They think the lead is like, okay, you can get the leads, but then they realize, okay, I'm still getting objections. Now they realize, okay, I still need to, it's not just leads now. Other people are succeeding with these leads. Then we find out it's us. Right. And then it's all this work, the things that we talk about week to week that we need to do to be able to hit the numbers that we say, we want to hit each and every month. So I've been asking everybody all these questions this whole call. Do y'all have any questions for me?
I have just one, not about this. Would that be possible to ask?
Sure.
Rocky, I know we had talked a little bit about, and even you had mentioned what you would say when you would go out in person. I'm wondering if we could talk just a little bit about, going into small businesses around the area and what that conversation in the very beginning would look like when you walk through the door.
Yeah. So as far as like walking inside of businesses, it depends on the business, right? And the way it's set up first. So let's just say if it's a business where, like a hair salon or barbershop, all of the independent workers are all right in front of you. So that's easy access to approach the, decision makers, all of them, right?
Yeah.
So with that, you're just walking in there and you're just introducing yourself the same way you would do with one person, but you're doing it to a group, and I'm using and thinking in terms of concepts for those particular people. I'm thinking about, invisible money that Uncle Sam can't see. I love using that one for those particular people because they're immediately like, wait, what are you talking about? Well, I'm glad you asked. I can tell y'all busy right now. I see, y'all got all these lovely people sitting in these chairs. Y'all making them look all good. We can't talk about this right now. But what time do y'all typically close? I'll be able to come back and actually go over this with everybody in here so y'all can all understand the programs that Uncle Sam have no clue about. What time is that? So that's how I'm approaching those particular people. Now, let's just say if I'm walking inside of a business where, there's a somebody standing at the front desk, like you got the person that's gatekeeping pretty much. I'm going into this business and I'm going to do some research. I'm going to try to figure out who the business owner is first. Like you can always look up the business. Like if in Philadelphia, I will see a warehouse or something like that, and I will look up the business owner name. So now I'm going in directly and I'm asking for that person. Now, when you are canvassing businesses, you do have to dress the part, right? Canvassing a business, you have to dress the part. So I was wearing suits when I was doing businesses because, that's what they want to see. And also what I learned just from the experience is you will get past way more gatekeepers that way. Like I literally had like this one woman that walked me straight to the CEO's, walked up some stairs, took me straight to his office, and I was able to present to the guy on the spot. You know what I'm saying? And it was because of the appearance, but also everything I said. I came in there with confidence as if I knew the guy, and I asked for him as if I knew the guy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Would you the wearing that suit attire when you are going into, let's say, the barber shops, even mechanic shops, tattoo shops, something like that?
Yeah, so it's like with those particular places, like I still was wearing the suit, but I also, even after I got out of my suit, I would go inside them without the suit as well. Because like those, just from my experience in observation, I feel like they are less likely to judge you based on, your appearance. You know what I mean? Like they're not expecting they're, for one, a lot of barbershops are used to just anybody walking in trying to sell things. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of barbershops, you got people that will walk in there with socks and flowers. You know what I'm saying? Fruit, all type of stuff. So when you walk in there, you're pretty much just like somebody else until you separate yourself with, talking about Uncle Sam and, ghost money, things like that. So yeah, that's a good question, Thompson. Do I have any other questions from anybody on this particular subject or any other subject?
And so
Hey, Rocky.
Yeah.
Hi, Rocky. So it's Jerry.
Oh, hey, Jerry.
Hey, so my hang up is not talking to people. My hang up is market. Okay. Is where, I'm focusing on permanent and retirement and tax savings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That topic doesn't matter if you're going to retail, to parties, to funeral, luncheon, because I tested, it has a really good response and you're able to get appointments. Okay. So for that, how do we, because I'm not in the final expense market, so I don't do dialing.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I need to buckle down for?
Yeah, so you said permanent retirement and tax savings.
Yeah, permanent insurance, annuity. So that type of what do you call it? Clientele and leads are totally different. You can't, you're buying lists. Even you're trying to do dialing, you had to buy a list for for mortgage protections type of deal, or you had to get involved with retirement, because right now I'm hitting university. I'm going to the HR. I'm providing free, topic on retirement, the transition. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
I'll be hitting on the street this week, trying to find the HR people and, that type of deal. So my thing is, when my focus, where do I get these lists to call them? Well, where do I create? It's so different. It takes time.
I got you.
So
So it's something that build up, but it don't have to take much time. Like, you literally can go into these businesses, and you have to make the contact with the right person, right? So again, the way you do that is by using the same exact prospecting method of creating curiosity. You know what I mean? Creating curiosity.
right, which
And it's
I
like
have.
So it's like you're just picking out the type of market you want to market to. So when you're talking about like retirement and annuities and things, annuity is that's the senior market, the annuities, right? And when you're talking to them, the easiest way to get, like, you don't want to approach them from, like, you can approach them talking about, are you familiar with not outliving your money? What are your thoughts about being able to not outlive your money? You know what I mean?
Right.
A question like that. So, but another way you can approach it is talking to them about what's immediate, right? The immediate sale is health insurance, med sup. So you don't have, even if you don't have the product and you don't know how to sell that, that's not an issue. It doesn't matter, right? You can have the conversation and you can refer them to the person that can help with that. But you can use that to get inside the door, right? So you can ask a question like, have you, what are your thoughts about, people having to, go into the hospital? They've been working all these years and they still have to, pay a huge chunk out of pocket to still cover their health expenses. What are your thoughts about that? Because it's a big chance they experienced it if they don't have a Mad Sup program, right? So they start talking. Oh yeah, that's terrible. Do you know anybody that happened to? Oh yeah, I know someone. Because this is the thing, especially like when people are older, like in that bracket where they have to get, they're getting their Medicare and things like that. Like they like to
55.
they like to communicate this. They like to participate in groups so they can learn what's out there. And then they'll learn from somebody else that this person experienced a particular situation. So you just have to remind them of that with your question. Do you know anybody that experienced that? And let's just say they don't. I'm sorry, what you were going to say?
No, that's a good one because I'll be honest, the conversation with my network, with my agents, their warm market, that's the conversation. I say, stop talking about life insurance. Let's start talking about retirement. Let's start talking about, can you outlive the money when you get sick? Do you have that extra money? So now they're like, they have cash. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has some cash. So now they're like thinking about it. So that is, so based on what you guys have taught me, that's why I've been changing. But my question is the leads. Am I better off not buying leads, not even trying to, besides do your guys, giveaway and work with you guys on the Facebook? For my market, it's best I just hit the road.
Yeah, so like I would never suggest like not using leads. Like I will always use both. Like the leads that's just one method, right? That's just one method for you to get opportunities. We don't want to be limited to anything. The more methods that we have, right? It's obvious. The more opportunities we give ourselves.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't.
Yeah, but the leads, the one that work with you guys are way cheaper than the one that if I had to buy annuity leads with permanent life insurance leads, those are so expensive. They're not cheap. They're like literally 3 digits.
Well,
is that worth my time or just focus on the street? This is where my comparison.
So when it comes to the leads and the cost, again, you could get those same leads out of a giveaway.
Okay,
Like
that's
I
all I
said, you
want to
can
know.
get, yeah,
Mhm.
you can get those leads from a giveaway. Right?
Okay.
You're just, again, you're doing the same exact thing. You're just asking this, like we can put the questions in the funnel, let the funnel
Okay.
ask the questions as they're going through the funnel,
Perfect. Mhm.
and then you just have to carry it out, with creating that curiosity just to get them talking. Again, all we want to do is have a conversation, and we don't know what's there until we have it.
Perfect. So
Right,
that
we
way I
gotta
don't
ask
have
the
to
question.
keep fishing. Yeah, then I don't have to keep researching, trying to, figure out like 5 different ways. And I'll just focus on my street, door knocking or street knocking, whatever you guys terminology, and then work with you guys on the funnel and the ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't distract my focus.
So
That's
Yeah.
my
so yeah,
question.
so look,
Yeah.
another thing with that, hold on quick, Dwayne. So another thing with that is like, we don't want to lead you don't even really have to lead it with the money. If you're talking to somebody that is like 64, 65, like, and you're trying to get,
Yep.
you're looking for bigger opportunities like annuities and things like that, you can lead with the health. Lead with health questions. Get in with
That's
health.
a good one.
Do you know somebody? Do you know somebody? Many people today are having these strokes mysteriously. I mean, a stroke is
Yes.
always mysterious for the most part, right? People are having strokes mysteriously. What are your thoughts about that? Get them talking. Oh, yeah, I know it's terrible. I know somebody that had one. I would hate for that to happen to me. Did you see how it affected them financially? I know a lot of people, when it happens, financially they're impacted very, very badly. Do you know what happened to them financially? Oh, I know that, if they know or they don't know, it doesn't matter. You just know where you need to go with it next. You can share a story of what actually happens when somebody have a stroke and they don't have the funds to take care of it themselves. You know what I'm saying? So you're building up like that idea for the person, and you're making it urgent for them to be like, oh, I don't want that to happen to me, because if it do, what am I going to do? Right? That's what we want to build up. And that's, we can close for the appointment by saying something like, look, my schedule is really booked up, but as a courtesy, it sounds like you're just pretty much, out hanging right now. Should a stroke happen to you unexpectedly, I'll be willing to put you on my schedule. I'll be willing to, just as a courtesy, to see if there's any way we could help you should you have a stroke unexpectedly. It's Tuesday, better or Wednesday. So now you're getting in, right, on the idea of the stroke. And it's great because you can sell a critical illness policy. Those policies are dirt cheap, 15, 20, 30 bucks, right, for a critical illness policy. Now, even though that's super cheap, now you have trust. You just help them with a problem that's very big for a very low cost, right? And this is the same ideology we want to use with selling term policies, right? You sell a term policy for really cheap to solve a big problem because they could get much more coverage, need more coverage for big problems, right? They get it for a low price, and then you come back, hey, I know I was able to help you with your defensive plan, but as I was looking over this information, it looked like I noticed some holes in your offensive plan. You can let them, I noticed that there was some holes. I'm sorry, my phone had rung. You can let them know. I noticed there was some holes in your offensive plan. What are your thoughts about that? They're not going to know what to think about it because they don't even know the holes. Oh, what are the holes? I'm glad you asked. I can come back over Tuesday or Wednesday, which is right. Get curiosity out of what you didn't help them with. And this is how we layer policies. This is how one client can become a lifetime client. Like, one policy is cool, as long as you're building up their relationship. But when you get multiple policies in the same household, they're not going nowhere. Somebody call them and try to use the same thing we teach. Did you go with the partial or complete? Look, I'm not sure, but let me call my agent to find out, because you're there. Right? We can do this with most people because most agents aren't there. Most agents aren't being taught to follow up with their clients. There's no relationship. So they don't even care if they switch or jump ship. Like, innately, they're actually looking for somebody that they feel like really care about them. Right? If we sell a policy to somebody and we don't follow up, and they obviously bought because they trusted us. They felt the connection. They felt like we would be there for them. That's why they bought it from us. But if we never reach out again after that just to check up on them, like, all of that is now down the drain. And our clients is now open season for the next agent that create the same effect we did. And then all that time to prospect the person, to down to selling it, to writing a policy, is all wasted. But Jerry,
Okay.
that's pretty much what I would suggest to you though. Like
Okay.
for that market, I would suggest using, the health side, because that's an older demographic. And when you get inside there with that, they typically have this nest egg. Well, you find when you're doing your effect finder and you find out how much money they have. Do you have any old 401ks? Do you have money lying around in any CDs, anything like that? Right, and then you find out the money. Let's just say you find out they got 500,000. Oh, so I see you have $500,000 right here. Do you plan on spending it all next year? What would they most likely say? Do you plan on spending this all next year? No.
Nope.
Right, we're leading them to down our no. Oh, I will hope not. What are your plans to do with your 500,000 over the next 20 years? Most people, the response I get typically is, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I just really want to just save it. Oh, okay. That's perfect. That's a great thing to save money. Are you aware of vehicles where you can save your money, allow it to grow tax-free without any risk to losing any of it? Are you familiar with that? What do you mean?
Yep.
I'm glad you asked. Are you open to hearing how this works? Yes. You just have agreement, trial close for an annuity, guaranteed lifetime income.
Yep.
Right. So now all you're doing is just I'm a terrible artist. Like my handwriting is terrible, but I was selling so many annuities just from drawing a simple stair step. It's a simple straight line and it's in a wiggly line. Right. Like my annuity presentation was literally like this. So look, so you could put your money in a vehicle where it's not, it's not guaranteed, and it could go up and down. So it's like you could win, you could lose, you never know, right? Then you could put your vehicle in something where, like what you currently have it in, where it's just, it's basically not growing. And then I'll just put like these tiny little lines just to indicate that it may be growing like by like 0.1%, just sitting in the CD or something, right? This tiny little, like not even noticeable line. I'm doing that intentionally, subliminally. And then I'm doing a stair step. And this is the third option where your money can go. It's just going up. Like on the years that the market go up, you're going to get some of that gain. The years that the market go down, you're just going to stay level wherever you're at. So you don't risk anything. You only win. How does that sound? That sounds good, right? Or the tie down that we was talking about a few weeks ago. The tie down could be, wouldn't it be nice to have that? Yeah, it would be nice. Why? I persuaded them by leading them with a statement tie down question to, own my policy that I just presented to them. That's what we call a ownership close. Wouldn't it be nice to have that? Absolutely. Why is that? Oh, because I could. Oh, you could. That's nice, isn't it? I'm selling them deeper. That's nice, isn't it? That's a question, right? You're getting more agreement, like more and more agreement. The feeling is just going, like becoming euphoric for them to get this product. And then what happens is they end up getting the product because they feel good about it and they feel good about you and they're glad that you asked them the questions that they were not familiar with. You know what I mean?
It's so funny you said that. I am, yeah.
So, and do anybody have any other questions for me? I'm sorry, you have something else, Jerry? I'm looking at this comment right here. You said break. You said break.
No, I just a couple weeks in.
Say that again, Jerry.
No, I said I used your tactic a few weeks ago from an IUL appointment into a annuity appointment, a quotation.
Yeah.
Because it's more attractive conversation with a group that is about 58. So, and I tried it again this week on a group of people. People get more excited on the topic.
Yes.
Yeah,
so, you don't have to mention the product. You just mention give it a good label.
Product. No, I just did what you said. Just tell them retirement. Do you want income forever? You don't even have to worry about what happened when you're sick. You still have income coming in. And they're like, what? Okay. I go, yeah, let's talk later. Let's set up a time. That's
Right.
what I said.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
yeah,
all we
I
have
don't
to
have
do.
a pitch. Mhm.
So look, so again, everybody, it's just all about like whether it's selling a product or selling an appointment. We need that mystery there, right? That mystery, and that's all we need is the mystery there for them to want to know what it is and what is this that you're talking about. That's when we start to reel them in. As soon as they got that question, like know that you got them on a hook, and you start reeling them in for the appointment. As soon as they ask a question, like you could literally shortcut the prospecting process when you call somebody. As soon as they call, as soon as you call, and they're like something as simple as, "Hey, my name is Rocky with XYZ Insurance Company. I see you filled out our form online in regards to the high blood pressure medications. What were your thoughts when you filled that out?" "Oh, I just, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what my thoughts were." "Oh, I completely understand that. Do you have a minute?" Like, it's literally like it's that simple because they don't know. It's mystery going on. The verb from the words you initially said is inducing some ideas based on what you said, and now they don't know what it is, so it's mystery. So when you ask for the appointment, you're just saying, "Hey, well, since you don't know, I can tell you, but I'm going to need a minute to do that." Right? The same thing, like the example I do in a sales training video. If you try to talk to somebody about something they don't know, they're going to need you. "What are your thoughts about astrology?" "I don't know much about astrology." "Good, I do. Do you have a minute?" It's the same exact thing. You know what I mean? So that's all we have to do, y'all. Like when we're prospecting, as well as in our sales processes we're going through, to obviously to pivot to a different product. After you get a sale, you can bring up another product at the end, but just in some decent wrapped up mystery language. Don't say, "Hey, I got it messed up that we can talk about next week." You can just say, "Yeah, I know many people are, they're having issues about going to the hospital and getting these big old bills, thinking that they were going to be taken care of from their medical Medicare plans. What are your thoughts about that?" "Ah, well, yeah," and then you just tie it down for the appointment. So, any other questions from anybody? All good. Do we all feel like we ready to kick up the gear? The end of the year, like we should set some end of the year goals. Like we should have some set like a nice end of the year goal and go after it.
I had a
Like,
question.
telling you. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I was just curious, if, well, I already texted Dwayne regarding doing the takeaway, the giveaway, campaign. And I was just curious, like, how everyone else is, if anyone else is doing that and how's that working out? Because I'm just trying, we're trying to target, a younger audience. I mean, I don't have a problem with final expense, but I kind of like the whole approach of being able to talk about something that that we like to talk about and try to possibly get some like mortgage protection and things like that.
Yeah. I don't think anybody in this group and that's on this call is running the giveaway, but we do have a lot of clients that is running it, and pretty much with the giveaway, like the way that conversation is flowing, you're literally like just using whatever the subject is and the questions inside the funnel, right? So for example, let's just say if I want to target like some people that's potentially high income earners, right? Like I'll target like a Maestro Steakhouse, right? I didn't know anything about Maestro Steakhouse until I looked up some places that people would shop at, and that's like a place in Beverly Hills, pretty much. So we looked up that targeted people that shop there, and or that that go buy food there, pretty much, and then we're just putting those questions in there. What are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts about that? So let's just say when we give them a call, it would sound like this: ring, ring. "Hey, this is Rocky with XYZ Insurance Company. I'm calling because I see you filled out our form online in regards to the Maestro's Steakhouse giveaway. And I just had to confirm your information to make sure that if you're the winner, we can make sure we get this sent out to the right address." And then I'll just start confirming right on the spot. And I don't give them really a chance to, I'm not asking them, can I do it or anything? I'm just going right into it to keep them on the hook. And then right after that, I'm asking them a question like, perfect. So we have everything all confirmed. Now, if you are the winner, I mean, how many steaks you plan on buying? I mean, I know it's $100, and Maestro Steakhouse Maestro steaks cost about like $200 each. Make a little joke. They like, well, it'll do something. Yeah, probably use it to get a drink. You know, that's the way I probably use it to get a drink. Well, good thing is you might only be able to afford a one with that, and you know you'll be able to drive home safe and sound. Just having like a quick little conversation, and then I want to let them know why I actually do this, because these people are wondering, well, is this real, and why would they actually send me a real gift card? That's what they want to know. What's in it for me, right? Perfect. So, I do want to let you know exactly why we actually after we built rapport, had that little conversation. So real quick, I do want to let you know exactly know why we do these gift card giveaways. The reason we do this is because it's a fun way for us to meet new clients. Okay. And as I'm looking at your survey, so as soon as you say that, right, they like, oh, that was the catch. That's the catch. So we don't stop there. We keep going. Right. So as I'm looking at your survey, I see for this question that we asked you, you know, should you pass away unexpectedly, you will want to make sure your house is still taken care of. You answer yes. Is that how you truly feel? Yeah, absolutely. Why is that? And now we shift their attention completely away from giveaway to talking about something serious. And by the time you make that sale, because like now you see like the whole conversation shifts. Why is that? You know, is that how you truly feel? Yes. Why is that? Oh, well, because I definitely, you know, I work hard. I want to make sure that, you know, if this happened, and then we keep it rolling from right there. Now we just asking all these questions within it, you know, and we were able to make sales just from going from that process right there. It's a much easier way to get into the conversation. Again, I always say most people don't do it because, you know, the idea about it. A lot of people feel like it's switching bait, and I guess you could say it's switching bait. But the reality is, it's like it's a general ad. It's general. Like you have specific ads and you have general ads. The specific ad is the one where your leads are going to be through the roof, right? You're not going to get much attention. It's like a bear trying to catch fish in a swimming pool. That's about 5 feet versus going to a lake, right? So we're like, hey, look, we want to hang out at the lake. We want to be fat and full. We want to be able to hibernate safe and sound. So that's why Dwayne and I decided to do that giveaway. You know, you get much more opportunities. But yes, the conversation is way easier than all the other conversations that we have had when we were dealing with leads, because it's a much warmer approach. So you have any other questions about that?
Questions here?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, like with that approach, you can get really, really targeted with your audience. Like one of the guys I had, I showed Rocky his house because actually I did an in-home appointment for this, and the guy had an elevator inside his house because I was doing like the Mercedes-Benz Club, and the guy had like, you know, he had over $3 million in vehicles. So, you know, so you can get real creative with that strategy. But I know Elizabeth, I know like since we last spoke, I kind of just wanted to share y'all's story with everybody. So they were, you know, running the high blood pressure advertisement, then they had made a sale, but they contacted me asking about like the saying, oh, a lot of people don't seem like they don't have money. So I gave them some questions to ask, and on how to get that objection out of people. And right after that, you know, they closed 2 right after that phone call we had. But no, they reached out and they applied the strategies. Up. So just wanted to, kind of y'all to share that experience with everybody.
Yeah, no, you know, a lot of these people, I mean, I'm making sure that I'm using some of the keywords that Rocky said that's going to be in the ad set, because a lot of times these people, they don't remember, even if you call them like 10 minutes after they filled out the form. And I'll have people say, oh, I'm not interested. I'm like, wait, that was, about the high blood pressure, lisinopril, metformin. And then they're like, oh, yeah, what's that all about? I'm like, well, what were your thoughts? Well, and then they'll just open up. And next thing you know, without me even going too much into what I do, they're giving me their whole list of medications. And then, I'm mentioning their hometown, and they're telling me, they just like open book. It's like they open up like an accordion and they just leave everything out. And so I'm just like, wow, because that wasn't my experience at all. And I'm relatively, I mean, I'm new selling life insurance. I started like in July, and I wasn't getting this type of all these, conversations going, with whatever my, the training that my uplines were giving me. So it was just night and day. And so after a while, what I was saying too, I would ask people, okay, well, typically people fill this out because they're looking for like final burial expenses, mortgage protection, or leave a legacy. Now, when I was using that statement, a lot of people would close up. Oh, this is life insurance, click. And so I had, spoke to Dwayne, and Dwayne's like, no, don't say that. Just try to, after you find out, everything about them, their medications, their finances and stuff, because, I'm telling them, I'm trying to see if I can qualify you for this lump sum. So I have some questions to ask. And so once I get all that and they've opened up to me and, we'll talk about things that we have in common, blah, blah, blah. Then I'll go in, okay, Donna, for instance, God forbid something happened to you, who would be picking up the pieces? So, and I definitely do voice inflection because that definitely helps. And then I've gotten people just to kind of go all into that. I mean, I used the step to step. I had to listen to Rocky's call again, and, they're all getting kind of, saddened by it. I'm asking, why, and why would you feel that way? And how would that make you feel? How would they make them feel? And then I'm like, well, if I had a solution, how would that make you feel? And then I'm getting people like, that made me feel great. How would that make your family feel? I mean, that would be great. And I'm just like, okay, well, let's see what we can do for you. And so I'm just like, wow, I mean, I'm asking some of these nail biting questions, and I'm literally like biting my finger. I'm like, oh, I don't want to ask this question, but I'm like, I have to ask the question because you have to ask the right questions. You have to get these people to feel emotion for them to be able to make this purchase. You have to kind of bring it all out of them. And then they come to this realization, well, dang, and I'm like, now they're having your daughter, she's out of state, right? Yeah, so now she has to worry about flights. Is she working? Yeah, she's working. Now she's got to leave her job. What about the grandkids? Oh my God, so they start thinking about all this stuff, and it's just like, next thing you know, let's see if we can get you approved. And they're like, okay, let's do the application, after I, go over quotes and stuff, but totally different, that whole approach just has changed things.
Wait.
For me.
Scott even
No,
touched
I
on what
appreciate.
Thompson was saying earlier, how she was kind of getting stuck at the close. Maybe she would want to use that approach. Look, we're just trying to get you an approval today. I mean, we can't even do anything without the approval. So, that could be one way to go about it too, Thompson, as far as closing.
Yeah. Look, what you just said, that's curiosity in the close. We don't know if we're going to get you approved. We don't know if you're going to be approved. We're just going to, we at least need to figure it out. Now
Exactly.
The mystery is there for them to want to figure it out. And once they get approved, they're actually happy about it. I appreciate y'all for sharing that. Now, if y'all notice the very first thing she said at the beginning, when she said people pick up and they say, oh, like, well, she get the little pushback, and then she used the stun words, and the people say, oh, what's that about? Her first response was, well, what were your thoughts? That's all we doing. What's that about? Well, what were your thoughts? Instead of answering the person, and then she would have lost. She would be losing in these conversations. And I appreciate you for sharing that. You said you started in July, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I wish like I was able to pick up this as quick as you picked up on this stuff that in this training, because you just literally just was naming, just talked about everything that we talked about.
I've been doing everything. I mean, reading every day helps. I've been listening to Tony Robbins, mindset. I mean, I've been doing everything possible because, this is what we want to do. Our goal is to, open up our agency, and help families. And so, I was doing health insurance before this and working for, big companies and barely getting, I've almost made more than so far in this month than I have during AEP, selling Medicare, busting my hump, working 60, 70 hours a week. And and I have time for my kids and everything. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, one of those sales was a mortgage protection. And, I'm just like, what was that, an hour and a half call, and I made $2,000? I'm like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I'm staying what I'm doing. I'm going to stay doing this. Like, this is it. So yeah, it's exciting.
And look,
it's great.
Yeah, that's good. So look, if you notice that, like, once you just really realize that it's literally just all about the conversation, you realize it doesn't matter where the lead come from, how much the lead costs, as long as you can do what you did with everybody. Well, what is this? That's a good question. You got a minute? right? Just throw it right back. And then you get, like you just said, they open up. Like people will open up with the right question,
That's right.
right? It's like if you ever go to like a therapist, they ask you a good question, you know, like, and they open up this wound, and then they just get it all of it just pour out, you know, something that you never considered. So again, thank you for sharing that. I hope everybody picked up, you know, some from this call. Again, like our goal is for everybody to grow every single week, you know, after participating in one of these calls. And we hope that everybody have some more activity, you know, and more importantly, set some goals. Just like, even if you don't hit it, you got to at least get started with setting a plan, you know, and then if you don't hit it this year, you can reflect at the beginning of next year as to why you didn't, and then make those changes. So then 2023 won't be like 2022, you know, and y'all keep doing that, and it's going to lead you to wherever you're trying to get to. Right. So everybody have a great day. We're going to conclude the call, and